Okay. So I have to remake this video. So I was gonna make a video, and that's what this video will be about, of my personal experience playing this game the last little bit. However, I yapped too much. I talked for over 30 to 40 minutes, and the recording also ended up glitch. Blech. You can already see I'm getting voice cracks because I already talked for so long. So I have to redo this entire video, yay, right? And I have to short form it as much as possible so that it doesn't, like, crash the recording, or the recording doesn't fuck up, right? So let's try to get through this as quickly as possible. Number one thing I want to get out of the way is the story and being able to skip it. I came to this game at the beginning of Shorekeeper's patch, like returning to it, and I was able to do that all the way to Cartesia's patch, all in like 6 to 7 hours. It's an absolute godsend, the skip dialogue option in this game. I absolutely love it, and I wish HSR would just take notes from Wuwa on this, right? HSR, please. It is so annoying trying to play multiple accounts on HSR at once. It's usually easy, right? Most of the time it's incredibly easy because of how convenient HSR is time-wise. However, whenever a new story patch comes out and you have to go through like 7 to 8 hours of a new patch's story, it's just so annoying, right? So this game's story progression, for someone like me who just doesn't care too much about the story, is just way better. This game is so fucking nice to be able to get through story with, right? Next thing I want to mention is the, movement and exploration. Exploring in this game is fucking godsend, right? Even in Huanglong, the Huanglong exploration for Wuwa is still better than Genshin's, in my opinion, by a mile. If anybody is an OG here, one of my original videos on my channel, and my most popular one, is how Wuthering Waves ruined Genshin for me. And this was around 9 months ago, and in that video I say that when I tried coming back to Genshin for like Arlecchino and those characters, after playing Wuwa, the movement and exploration felt so slow and bad that I genuinely got a headache trying to force myself to play the game. And so this led to me quitting Genshin. And somehow they have only made it even better. You now in Renacita have the ability to fly, in which you can cover hundreds of meters of distance in literal seconds. It is so fucking good, right? It's amazing, right? And I will say, I hope they add this to Huanglong at some point. This flight is only available in Renacita. I do hope they add it to Huanglong, because Huanglong exploration now feels like a chore after experiencing flight in Renacita. And to be honest, I'm too lazy to do the rest of my Huanglong exploration because I've been spoiled by Renacita. Like, as you can see, I have so much exploration left that I've barely touched on, and it's simply because I'm too lazy to go around putting loot mappers everywhere and like trying to find everything, right? And Renacita is just so much easier. You know what I'm saying? So, big props to Wuwa on that. Now, this is where the criticisms are going to come in. I understand if you guys don't want to watch this video anymore. This is going to be the criticisms, right? No more Actually, no, a little more glazing. I will say this game, you will get more 5 stars if you play this game and you're a new player than you would in any of Hoyo's games. The banner rates are slightly better, with 10 less hard PD on the character banner, although the weapon banner is the same as HSR. However, the weapon banner is guaranteed instead of a 75-25. Now, me personally, in HSR, for anyone who doesn't know, I have a negative light code win rate. I am incredibly unlucky in that game, so I am someone who is able to very greatly appreciate the guaranteed weapon banner in this game. It 100% makes certain polling plans a lot easier. However, this game is already headed in a bit of a gray area in terms of making signature weapons so much better than any 4-star options. So, I will say, for now it's fine. I think it's okay. The signature weapons are for sure significant jumps for a lot of recent, better DPSs. However, if they just keep it the same way it is right now, I don't think it's an issue. However, if they keep increasing the power jump between having a sig weapon and not having one for a new character, then it's going to be a lot more questionable for me in the future. But we're talking right now and not hypotheticals. So yeah, that is my opinion on the banners. This is 100% a much more, obtain 5-star friendly game, especially if you do more of the exploration. You have a shit ton of asteroid to be able to obtain, right? Now, this is going to be a very, very big gripe that I have with this game. Probably the biggest one of them all. More than my complaints for this Annie, more than my complaints for the Annie event, the Gilded Night Market, it is the ecosystem. The ecosystem in this game is absolutely fucking abysmal. I had 70 solvents a few days ago. I dropped them all on the Spectral Frazzle domain. The Spectral Frazzle one that also had the Frosty Resolve one, because I do plan to get Carlotta, so I was knocking 2 birds with 1 stone. I didn't get one best in slot Spectral Frazzle set for a DPS. By that I mean 5 echoes with at least double crit on all of them. And that is 70 solvents. Like that, if you give me the equivalent of 70 solvents in HSR, I am 100% getting decent double crit relics for a lot of my characters, and probably 1 or 2 pieces would be very high value with 3 to 4 crit rolls, right? So this is just insane to me. The echo situation in this game is so fucking bad, and to make it even worse or better, they did give us main stat changers, but it's like, couldn't we get substat ones? I want you guys to keep in mind, basically like 2 days ago, I was farming the Nightmare Morning Ikes for 2 hours and a half. And it took me 25 Ikeses with the right main stat before I could get a good Ikes for my Phoebe. It's like, what? You need to keep in mind, this is getting the right main stat. 1, there is multiple main stats that you can get in the first place. And 2, echo drops aren't even guaranteed, right? So you need to get the right main stat, then you need to get the echo drop, and then you need to get the right rolls. And rolling in this game is just so fucking bad, right? So I do hope in the future they add like a substat changer as well, and they work more on the ecosystem, because it's a headache farming for these echoes. In fact, I farmed the Morning Ikes again for half an hour on stream today, and I didn't even get a single Ikes with the main stat I wanted, which was crit damage. All I got was crit rate, healing bonus, attack. I didn't get a single one for half an hour of the actual main stat I wanted. The ecosystem in this game just needs to be improved, right? Next, we have the recent anniversary stuff, right? Now, I want to go a little more in depth on this because I didn't go as in depth on it on my last video. It's actually even worse than I thought, right? This Gilded Night Market, you are only able to get 2 of the character banner pulls on this market without pulling. If you pull a little bit, you can get 3 pulls more. And the problem is these 5 pulls, right? Stick with me here. I've already counted all of this. This gives you 900. These activity tasks give you 900 tokens in total, and that's it. The only other way to obtain tokens is through wishing. So if you guys didn't know, you need, I believe, 2300 or 2200 night market tokens to unlock these 5 pulls, and 1200 to unlock these 3. So let's see how much you'd have to pull on banners to be able to get all 10 pulls from the night market, right? So it's around 2200, I believe. So you get 900 base, which means we need 1300 tokens. So convene 10 times, convene 20 times. That's 400, right? However, this just isn't enough. So let's see, that's 400, which brings it down to 900 more, right? We need 900 more. We go over here. You can get 400 from here as well. So that brings it down to 500, right? So there's 500 tokens left. You only have to pull 40 times. That's not that bad, right? No, it is that bad. You then need to do another 20 pulls on the resonator or weapon convene to get 400 more tokens. This is the next closest goal. So we are now at 60 pulls, and would you look at that, you're 100 tokens off of being able to actually afford the ability to get the 5 fucking pulls. So even if, right, even if you pull 40 times on this, and I think 20 times on this, it's still not enough. I think you need to do like 80 plus pulls on banners to actually unlock these pulls, which is just stupid. Even outside of people saving, even if you pull, let's say you're on high pity from SK, or you're guaranteed from SK, or you get lucky. Any of these 3 scenarios, you're probably not going to be spending all that many pulls in this Annie if you aren't trying to get like every single character and you're saving for like Cartethia or something, which is, it's like, bro, 80 pulls? Like, it'd be a little more understandable if you only needed to do like 10 to 20 pulls for this thing. It would still be bad. It would still be bad. But 80 plus pulls to actually get all of the limited pulls on this first anniversary event is absolutely diabolical, right? It is just fucking shit, right? So I have my takes on that. It is just so bad, right? It is so bad. I absolutely hate it, right? So I think that's almost all I have to really talk about short formed, right? The average pulls per patch in this game is very similar to HSR, right? And this is the point I've always been trying to make in my previous videos, that a lot of people seem to get messed up. I'm not trying to say HSR is a better game. I'm not trying to say HSR is more generous or just as generous. My argument was always that these two are close in terms of rewards, right? And that is true. If you compare the bookkeeping pulls per patch for HSR and the bookkeeping pulls per patch for Wuwa, the difference is like 5 pulls, 5 to 10 pulls, and that's it per patch. With HSR having, no offense, just straight up the better Annie, I am once again going to put this on screen. This Annie is only giving you 18 more pulls than normal, and that is including this night market event. If you don't take advantage of this night market event, that is -8 to -5 pulls, meaning this patch is only 10 pulls better than an average it's less than 10 pulls better than an average Wuwa patch. So do with that what you will. Say I'm a Hoyo shill, say I'm doom posting this game. I've seen this take a lot. I'm not. I simply expect more from this game. I don't want this game to go down the Hoyo route. That's the entire reason why I fell in love with this game in the beginning. They weren't doing this Hoyo shit. They had guaranteed weapon banners. They were giving us free 5 stars here and there. The pulls per patch were better. Like, everything felt so much cleaner and better. And then for 1 year of supporting them, we get basically a normal patch. We get an average patch for the Annie with 10 rerun banners. And the only way to get these pulls in an event is to actually pull 80 fucking times. And to top it all off, the cherry on top, 10 of these pulls you can't get until Zanny's and Phoebe's banners are gone. Only on NA do you have a 3-hour time frame to get this. So overall, I'd say my return to Wuwa has been good. I'd say it's been good. However, if we're talking about my reasoning for returning to Wuwa, which was preparing for the Annie rewards and all that, it is pretty sad. I think this Annie especially for anyone who wasn't returning. Because keep in mind, I'm returning, so I have a bunch of asteroids to farm. You know, I have a bunch of access to pulls. But if you're already a veteran player who's been playing this game consistently and you do everything every patch, this patch, rewards-wise, is no different. Oh my god. These voice cracks are bad. I'm sorry, guys. This patch, rewards-wise, isn't any different from an average patch, which I can only feel for you guys. It sucks, right? And yes, I will stand on this still, even after I heard Tectone reacted to my video. HSR's second Annie is better than this one. And HSR's first Annie was also better than this one. HSR's first Annie gave 125 limited character banner pulls total. And, what's it called? The second Annie of HSR gave around 121 to 123 with the limited token. Now, you can 100% make an argument for Wuwa being slightly, and I mean slightly better than HSR's first Annie because of the less, 10 less hard pity. But I'm taking that into account here. HSR's first Annie had like 7 more pulls than the current Wuwa. Like, they're close, right? They were genuinely close either way. But the second Annie for sure for HSR is just straight up better than Wuwa's. Even the content that a lot of people were hyping up for this anniversary, at least personally, has been very boring. This is literally the only real event going on, and I just haven't been having too much of a good time with it, right? So that's my personal experience with Wuwa the last 2 weeks. I would say it's overall positive. Outside of my complaints for the Annie and outside of my complaints for the ecosystem, playing this game has been fun. And I think most of my viewers who, don't hate me and try to like paint me out as a Hoyo shill know this. They've watched me play Wuwa and stream it way more than HSR lately. In fact, there have been some days where I haven't even logged into HSR recently because I've just been grinding Wuwa so much, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're a new player, this game is worth getting into. There's a lot of asteroids to farm. I think there's no better time with Cartethia coming up, all these rerun banners, and the power creep in this game isn't too bad, right? So you can run most characters in this game and clear endgame, so having to like stress too much about pulling a certain character to carry you through endgame isn't that big of a deal, right? There are for sure tiers to how good certain characters are over others in this game. However, it isn't anything too crazy, right? And yeah, that's about it. Oh wait, I forgot to mention this. This doesn't really have much to do with the video. I have been seeing disingenuous takes from a lot of Wuwa content creators trying to change the narrative for the Phoebe Zanny situation. Almost everyone for the Phoebe Zanny situation was never arguing that Zanny is somehow useless and can't clear endgame. They were arguing that Zanny's damage loss without having a Phoebe on the team is very noticeable, and the most noticeable it's been for any DPS in the game so far, which is just true. Even actual official content creators for Wuwa after release who do the calcs and actually do the testing also admitted playing with Phoebe is completely different than playing with Spectro Rover. And I don't remember which one it is that I watched, but she showed gameplays showing that the Phoebe Zanny team performed noticeably better than the Zanny Spectro Rover team, and even admitted she was min-maxing with the Spectro Rover team and was just doing whatever with the Phoebe team, knowing she could have done a better run with Phoebe. So that just goes to show you the comfortability and how much Spectral Frazzle damage amp Phoebe gives for Zanny is very significant. Once again, the calcs that I did pre-release are very, very accurate still. It's around 30% better with Phoebe for Zanny and 45% if Phoebe has her weapon over Spectro Rover, right? So that's all I have to say in this video. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. I hope they don't continue this, dot archetype thing. I hope Cartethia isn't the same situation, but we will find out when the leaks come out soon. Peace out.